It's time that some of us take up our ministries. It's time that some of us take up our miracles. Because until you're determined enough to see it come to pass, it's not going to come to pass. You have not because you've asked not. I'll never forget my sister Paula. She said, Penny, you get anything you want because you don't give up. When I wanted a child and it was impossible for Jeff and I at the time to have a baby, I wasn't going to give up. I wanted to find out what I needed exactly to do, and it was impossible. The money that we needed for the surgery was impossible, but I knew that I served a one that it wasn't impossible. I knew that all the money in the world was his. And so what I did was I got a dill pickle jar and I wrote on it baby fund. And I tell you what, God laid it upon people's hearts to give me $5. One lady gave me her coins and told me to roll her coins. She wanted to help. And we began to find work. Now, didn't come easy, did it, Jeff? We had to get out there and paint houses, and we worked until we were tired. We re-sided houses, and we worked. But God brought the work for us to get the money. So God will bring the jobs for you to get the resources, but you may have to get out there and work. He doesn't always just hand it to you, like the Shunammite woman. You know, it was over. If she would not have gotten on that donkey and drove it in determination, she would have never, ever had another day with her. I have with me today Donnie and Marnie Flowers, and they are a blessed couple that has made up their mind to make a difference in their community. I want them to share with you how they have gotten started doing a food ministry that is touching so many for Jesus. Can you explain to me how you got started and what your food ministry is all about?
Well, really, to begin with, it kind of goes a long way back because back, year ago, 2 years ago, when Hurricane Charlie hit here, we were living in Georgia at the time, and my husband felt led to come down to help in a ministry. We kind of settled down for that. God just opened a new door completely for us, and it was called Angel Food Ministries. And we are just really blessed to be in this work for God, because now we're helping not just middle class or low class, but high class. It doesn't matter what status you are. It's a ministry, and it's a door opener that we can feed people, and you know, we look at it as we're not only feeding them in their stomachs, but we're reaching their hearts and souls, because we feel that our true calling is that God has placed us here to reach the unlost. And what better way is there to reach the unlost than through food? Because you know,
everyone's got to eat.
They say through a man's stomach, to get to a man's heart, you go through his stomach.
Amen.
Well, you know, I feel the same. To get to a person, you know, you go through their stomach, and God's opened the door that we can help people no matter what their situation is, and it's a tool that is used that it's just opened doors, and people has been blessed through it. People has been set free, really. I mean, because we pray for them, and we just do whatever God leads us to do with them, you know. And it's just a ministering tool altogether, and it's just wonderful. And people from even the surrounding counties is beginning to join in, and I believe in people helping people and working as a community and helping each other. That's what it's all about.
Now, you've mentioned Angel Food Ministries. Can you explain to the people that's never heard of Angel Food Ministries how that got started and how that's grown? You were sharing with me, and how y'all got involved in that.
Well, actually, we got involved in it just a few short months ago. We had a phone call, and it just seemed like God just opened the door, just done it suddenly. And he opened the door for it, and we just kind of stepped right in, and it's just been blooming ever since. And each month it's just getting better and better, and God opened that door for us, and we stepped into it, and we are seeing God just work through it, and we're just going to continue growing in the Lord, and reaching souls, and touching people on the streets and in the malls or wherever.
Now, Brother Donnie, from what I understand, you have to go get the food and bring it back to your community. What involvement do you have with it?
I do the driving. We go from Wauchula to Clearwater to pick up the food and to bring it back, and then we have to go through the boxes and sort out each package to put in boxes for the people.
That's interesting. That's neat.
It's a community thing,
because
it just doesn't just involve us, but it involves members of our church. It's people helping people. And some people in your church might think that they don't do anything for God, or they can't reach nobody for God. And this has showed people that they can. Just small things matter to God. And if it's nothing but going once a month and passing out a box of food to someone, or putting some food in a box from someone, that's a mission right there. That's a mission. And you can have that in your own hometown. And small things matter to God. And it's very important that people realize that you don't have to be a multi-million-dollar pastor or evangelist or anything. God can use just simple people, because if He can do it with us and through us, He can do it with and through you. He's just wanting willing vessels that's willing to be obedient to His call and to do what He's called you to do. And that's really what it's all about, being obedient.
Being obedient. And anybody can be obedient to the work of the Lord. And I feel in my spirit that every person has a ministry. You need to stir up the gifts within you and find out what your passion is and what your desire is to do for the Lord. And we're going to give y'all some information on the screen on how you can contact Donnie and Marnie Flowers. And if your church is interested in starting a food ministry, from what I understand, there's no storing the food. Can you explain to me how you take the orders and how the people come pick up their food and stuff?